HiSec Buyback offers a 90% JITA anywhere in HiSec. Simply go to hisec.evebuyback.com, appraise your items, create a contract, and get paid quickly.
Welcome to Talking in Stations. I am Matterall here. It is August 6th. We're going to talk about some EVE Online on this casual Friday with some friends. You see an old face here. Well, actually, not an old face. That's really rude, isn't it? Old friend. Yeah, old friend, Manicsar. How are you?
Hey, doing great.
And right next to him is Nick. How are you doing, Nick?
It's a good evening. Hi to everybody.
Hello. And for you guys that have listened to Shen over the months and months and liked all the stuff that he had to say, you're going to hear it a little clearer now. So Shen, how are you doing?
Doing well. Hello, hello.
Oh, that is delicious, isn't that?
Sounds great.
Yeah, nice microphone. So
yeah, it's a lot better.
And so it's great to have you in like full ASMR mode. Really, you have the perfect voice for it. All right, let's talk about EVE Online. Okay, so first up, wow, Shen, why don't you actually take us through this first thing? This is the Valiant combat in the Proving Grounds.
Yep, so we have a new Proving Ground starting downtime on the 6th of August, runs all the way to the 10th of August downtime. So this Proving Ground is the Omen FFA, so 4-way FFA with the Omen cruiser. So that's the Amarr Tech 1 cruiser. And some rules involved here is modules limited below T2, so Meta 4 below and below, and no pirate implants are allowed. And the special thing about this Proving Ground is that no focused resistant modules or rigs is allowed. No focused resistance modules or rigs allowed. So the reason why this rules is in place, because all those beam lasers or those pulse lasers, those energy weapons that Amarr ship use, they can only deal EM and thermal damage. So if you tank for the right damage, then potentially you can have up to, let's say, 80 or 90% of the resistance, depending on the modules that you put in. I mean, right now we do have a limitation on modules, but that will make it extremely hard for players to penetrate each other's armor, right? Because Omen as a Amarr cruiser is usually armor tank. It only has 3 mid slots and I think 5 or 6 low slots.
Yeah, so you can't, but I assume by focused, specific ones, so your Omni tank ones would still be fine.
Yeah, so your multi-spectrum stuff will all be fine. And here's the catch: reactive armor hardener is also fine. So yeah.
All right. Well, the Proving Grounds, again, this is an experimental place for CCP to do some basically alliance tournament type stuff where they eliminate certain factors to see how people adapt. And this informs them on maybe how to ship balance a little bit later. It also is a pretty fun place to, I think, compete against other people in a very safe environment in that you really won't be humiliated in here because everybody's going to die in this place, right? So.
Oh no, I could still get quite humiliated, but
well,
but what
you can do? Fly with one engine?
You're not risking. Yeah, you're not risking a terrible lot, and it's a fairly level playing field the way they've got it designed.
Yeah. These are pretty fun events if you participate in them. Of course, we're always gonna have people that's going to try to min-max or kind of skirt the rules. That's going to happen, but overall, these are extremely fun to participate in. It's an instant combat, really. Mm-hmm. For those that like just like to log in and jump into action, this allows that to happen. So,
but the casual EVE player wants to get in, get some action, and compete. I think it's great. I think you can be humiliated if you want to be. I don't know. Some people like that sort of thing, but what I mean is like you can go into this knowing I'm going to die and that's it, you know, and you know you're going to see somebody in there. It's not like you're going to roam around for 15 low sec jumps and not bump into anybody. And then when you do, there's 10 of them, right? Like this is a much more controlled environment where, you know, you can actually probably improve yourself. I would do this just as practice. No, I wouldn't try to compete, but I would do it just to practice. All right.
Just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun of it. I think that's what it's for. It's a little not in the spirit of EVE Online Sandbox. I wish there was, maybe it is like a gladiatorial pit.
Yeah, gladiator, right?
Yeah, gladiators, right. I wish they could tie that in somehow a little better with maybe lore or something. I don't know what. But we'll see. All right, what else we have here on the agenda? So that is a proving grounds. Should we jump to the Mac client next?
Yep, I think so. We have a native Mac client playtest. Singularity is going to be on the Singularity test server on 12th of August at 1700 UTC. So this is a mass test.
Now, is this going to be optimized for the new M1 chips that the Macs are running, or do we know?
I don't think so. I think the M1 chips actually have a portion of their programming or their chip that allows them to be backwards compatible with anything or most things that are made for Macintosh. So that's probably what it's running on. I don't know if it was called Rosetta or if that's a different one, but I doubt they're doing the M1. Here it is, Rosetta 2 for the client. Yeah. So that's supposed to be like Rosetta when they did this, when Macintosh did this before, was pretty good. It ran at about 75% speed, which was okay. But this Rosetta 2 is really good. Like,
they mentioned the M1 there.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you see the M1? Are they...
it says this test will support all configurations of M1 ARM-based systems natively in this release. So that's exactly what it's doing. So that's good news.
I didn't read right before without the use of Rosetta 2.
There you go.
Oh, this is great news.
That's awesome. The good thing about this is those M1 Macs, you can get the Mac Mini with the M1 relatively cheap.
Yeah, that's what I'm using right now.
Right now with these video cards the way they are, and if you're wanting to play EVE or something like that, that might be the best bet is to get an M1 Mac Mini and you're off the races as soon as this goes live.
Yeah, I think you can get one for $600 to $800, I think, depending on, there's two configurations.
Yeah, it's literally cheaper than a video card. Like if you're looking at a 3070 or something, or even a 3060 Ti right now, it'd be cheaper than a 3060 Ti.
Yeah. Listen, I'm using this, a Mac Mini, and I'm able to stream. I have like 3 or 4 things open. It's an amazing difference. I can't really compare it to an Intel experience before, but Intel, you could hear your machine starting to, the fan would have to kick up and you could feel it kind of slowing down. I don't know when this thing slows down. I don't feel it. And I don't have much RAM. I think it's only 8. You know, to be doing all this with 8, it's too little.
Yeah. I would probably try to get the 16 gig if possible. But the 8 works. I've got a guy I work with. He has the 8 gig model as well, and he doesn't have any problems with it.
Yeah, if I had to do over again, I would do 16. I was really just doing this because I'm going to later use this for something else. So I didn't want to put too much into it, but I regret not having 16 because there's a few other things I would like to run all at the same time. But even 8 RAM here on Mac, I know this doesn't include a lot of people that are listening to this, it's a different kind of 8 RAM. It almost feels like 12 or something. It's a lot more than 8 because of the architecture of the M1 and how they put this stuff all together and cool it really well. And the best thing about this thing, completely silent. I have never heard it.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
they're really heat efficient for the performance you're getting, as well as they have the faster SSDs in those. Or NV storage drops, and when you cache to that, when you run out of the 8 gigs, it's still fast. So
that must be what's happening then. That must be what's happening.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
That's why I feel I have kind of an unlimited amount of RAM, which is weird. The machine just doesn't slow down when I should slow down. And but anyway, enough about that. I'm just telling you that because I have that experience, and this is what the client is basically made for the M1. They did say they were going to do that later in the year. It is later in the year, and they are delivering on that promise. CCP comes through with a new Mac client for M1, so you don't have to use any translation software like Rosetta 2.
Now, did I read that wrong? Okay, it says native playtest 11 to 16, but didn't lower it, say it was on the 12th?
Here it is, test server, and there will be a special mass test taking place on the 12th. So I think they open a window of time, which is what they did last time, I believe, from August 11th to the 16th. But in the middle of that, or right after it starts, there will be a mass test. So you can go and play, but a mass test is everybody get on at the same time. Let's see what happens when we have a lot of people on at the same time. What kinds of things freak out. Fantastic. This is good news. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Foundation Day.
Yeah, so we have a Foundation Day propaganda contest. So just like the two national holidays for the other two empires before, now we have the Amarr Foundation Day propaganda contest. So you basically need to submit a piece of art to CCP, and then you have a chance to win rewards. So top 3 places will get their prizes. So first place, it will be a choice of any Amarr ship model, the Magnet, the Oracle, or the Armageddon, offered by Mixed Dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
A set of brand new Imperial Commander's dress jacket and pants, men's and women's, and the Redeemer Lava Core skin.
This is an example of the
Yeah.
models here. I have this one here, the Tristan. And these look great over here. They're made out of like a resin, a composite. They're not matte. They feel a little sandpapery, so they have a little bit of grip to them. I guess they're 3D printed. The amount of detail on these things looks amazing. So that's your first prize.
Yeah. In second place, you have 1100 Plex plus the Imperial Commander's dress jacket and pants for men's and women's, and a couple lips, Lava Core skin. And for third place, 500 Plex and the same jacket and pants, but the Armageddon Lava Core skin.
Look at these handsome devils. All right, here's how to enter. Let's see. In order for your work to be considered, it must be submitted in this thread. So they give a link to that on the EVE Online forums. The contest starts now, and the cutoff for submissions is Tuesday, the 17th of August at 11 UTC. Winners will be notified soon after. All entries must abide by the EVE Online terms of service. Although no longer required for entry, please do not continue to share your propaganda on EVE-related social media such as Twitter with the tweet fleet hashtag. I guess they want to surprise people, so they don't want to have it out there already. Something like that. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe.
That sounds reasonable. All right, let's go to something that was caught earlier today about Amarr. This is the login rewards. There's a little something funny going on.
Yeah, that says please do share. It doesn't say don't, right?
Oh, shoot. Is it you know what? That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Makes sense.
Please advertise for us.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, of course. That makes more sense. Okay, so this is a different thing. Now we're on to something else. This is... you want to explain this, Shen?
Yep. So with the login reward, you will get something called the Amarr Foundation Expert System Pack, and it's the same thing that we have been getting from the Galante one and the Mimitar event. But the difference between this pack and the Mimitar one is this pack expires in your redeem queue after, I think, 6 days. 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Mimitar one lasted for a long time. So we can see from the screenshot that it still has about 150 day plus.
Yeah. Yeah, it
So
might have been like
that's-
4 months or 5 months.
Exactly. So there's a giant gap. Some people say this is a bug. Some people say this has it's been done on purpose. My take on it is, I think CCP said is they're going to do one big celebration for one empire each year. I think this year, as we can see from all those events, all those data set and combat sites, I think this year the focus will be what was on the Mimitar one. So that's why the expert pack lasted longer compared to the other two.
Did the
we've seen so
Galente?
far. I think the Galente is also 7 days.
Okay.
I think that one was about the Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that one is basically the pack that gives you the interceptor pack, basically. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think it's fine. It's temporary.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting theory. Now, did they say they were going to emphasize Minmatar this year? I haven't heard that. Did they say they're going to emphasize one empire over the others every year as they go through this sort of seasonal thing? Shen, you say yes, that's what they've said, right?
Yeah, from my memory, I think that's what it said. So I mean, we have seen it so far, right? The Mimitar one was so big, everyone was doing like combat sites, data sites.
That's right.
It really felt like an event. But this
Right.
one and the Galente, I think the Galente one has a Grand Prix with it. But
Plus, didn't the Galente one also have the that race around Eve?
That's the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Cool. So that is it for that. All right, now we're moving on. That's the news that we have today. We'll be moving on to something very interesting. You'll recognize this PIBC, which stands for. You want to tell me, Shen? Tell me, Shen, what it stands for?
Pan-Intergalactic Business Community.
Got it. We're not that familiar with this name, but anybody that plays on the Chinese server of EVE Online, which is the only other server of EVE Online, this group dominates the entire map. These guys rule the Serenity server. And who are they here in Tranquility? Because some of those players play over here as well. Who are they?
Yeah, so just to clarify, first thing first, there are two PIBC right now in the game. One is Alliance, one is a Coalition. So the Alliance one is a renter alliance in Zhongland. So they've been existing for, I think, a few years at this point. And yes, so that's them. And there's a coalition that's named PIBC, which is AOM, Evictus, and Vindictive. So all three alliances come together, form a coalition. It's called PIBC.
Got it. And that's the group that we're talking about today.
Yep, that's what we're talking about, the coalition, not the alliance.
All right, tell us about PIBC on Tranquility, the coalition PIBC.
On Tranquility, so we form, as a member, we got the news around February, March-ish, that we're going to form a new coalition. So that's also around the same time we were told that we're going to move into Esoteria/Paragon Soul permanently. Because before this, during the beginning of the war and the middle part of the war, we've been asked by Test to come in to help in terms of home defense, so they can deploy their troops elsewhere, and we've been asked twice. So it's a common thing to move to Esoteria and back and stuff like that. But this time, we were told it's going to be a permanent move. That means we're going to leave. We're not going to give up on Omis, but we're going to move away from Omis, and our new home will be in Esoteria. So with that, we were joined by Evictus and Vindictive. And now here we are located in Paragon Soul and Esoteria.
And so those are three legacy alliances breaking away from Legacy and forming PIBC, correct?
Yeah, so for a long time, I didn't know if we're still in Legacy and also in a new coalition, like Fed Up, or are we just in a separate coalition? For a long time, I was confused. But right now, with the end of the war, I think we're separating from Legacy.
Yeah, so somebody poked a beehive kind of close to Esoteria there, I think. Any concerns on that?
Well, I think that relates to our next step after the war. So for now, what we know of is we're going to stay as a coalition in Esoteria and Paragon Soul. We're not going to move like Legacy and PanFam is doing right now. So we're going to stay here and we'll wait for whatever comes. I think so. There has been an Evictus town hall, and in that town hall, their leader Francis explained that right now Gunsworm's focus is not on us. Their focus is on how to kill Test. Right? We have heard the phrase over and over again. Test is now or Test is next. So, their theory is we're not gonna. We shouldn't be worried about our safety right now.
Okay.
All right, so they're gonna pass by you on their way to
and
look for Test.
That's any other questions?
What's the relationship between AOM or PIBC?
Matterall.
I think you're muted out yourself again.
I think Matterall.
That's just for you guys, actually. They heard me this time, which is usually the opposite. I switched myself to push to talk. That was the issue. Let's try that again. What is the relationship between AOM or PIBC, larger coalition, and some of the groups that are in the Imperium, like Ranger Regiment or Dracarys?
So before the war started, we were +5 to Ranger regiments. I think we're +0 to Dracarys. I think so far that's I think standing at. I don't think it has been reset yet, but we have been fighting them like small fights in Fithabalis and in other places in Delph and stuff like that. So it's just normal fights between two coalitions. But yeah.
All right. You guys have any questions about PIBC?
Well, I'm just curious. You said you're going to be staying put where you guys already moved to for now. Did I catch that right?
Yep, we're going to stay in here. This is our home. We're going to stay here.
Well, I thought you were in Esoteria, though.
Right, that's what he's going to say.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you're staying in
Esoteria
Esoteria. Who's going to Paragon Soul?
We own 2 regions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just like tested, we own 2 regions right now.
All right, here's Paragon Soul. It's the bottom of the world. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Paragon Soul. I'll show you something that's kind of funny. You see these 3 systems down here? It's really tiny. That is the bottom. That is the most. That's the furthest south you can go in EVE Online. These 3 systems. I remember having to take out some POSs here, pauses, and it was a long trek down.
We got jump bridges now, so they can.
A little different, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny. I was like, "Ooh, we're at the South Pole. It's kind of cold down here." But look at that last system.
There's all that ice. Yeah.
Look at that system down there. It's a -1. Right? That's pretty funny. That's some good eating there if you're into ratting.
Oh yeah.
If you like rats, that's good eating.
And it's ice. So yeah, that's a double good.
Yeah. Some incentive to live in this little pocket down here. But, it's a cul-de-sac. You have to you have to find your way down there.
That connects to what period basis, I believe. We just zone out.
Esoteria and period basis.
Mm-hmm.
Here's G-Magic, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
G-Magic.
That's the period basis. This was big in the war. This was a big gate that there's a lot of activity
and G-Magic.
Yeah, a year ago, this place was really, really rocking. There was a lot of stuff going on here. Now it's probably quiet.
When we first deployed to Esoteria, we're staged in 0SUF, so the system right after GTAC-M. And we had constant small skirmishes at the TCAG gate and the GTAC-M gate. We're bringing in Bifrost, T1, the tower fleets, a lot of T1 fleets, T1 ships, so that it was a fun time. We had skirmishes everywhere, the bubbles on gates and things like that.
Yeah. Is there anything that you could say that you would consider special about AOM's attitude towards the game? Is there anything that is different about the way they run things? Why would somebody want to join Army of Mango if they could? I don't even know if that's available to people.
I mean, we are, well, I wouldn't say I think we're the biggest besides Frat during AOTZ. If you're a Chinese speak person, you want to join a Chinese alliance. If you don't like Frat, I think we're the perfect options.
The alternative.
We're kind of against each other in some way. It's a love-hate relationship between us and Frat.
Well, they seem to have lost some members, according to something that was published. I didn't catch the name, but I think it sounded like it was coming from leadership of fraternity, saying they really lost a lot of PvPers and they're going to have to rebuild, which was interesting because they're already large. So does that give you some encouragement that they're not at full strength or have a ton of members?
I mean, so the time that they lost a lot of members, that's when they moved from OSA to Way of the Silent. So during moving stuff like that, from like we had the same issue before, we lost I think a decent amount of number right after the move up, because move ups are really tiring, especially for those industrialists, right? They have trillion worth of stuff, they have trillion cubic meters of things, stuff like that. It's very hard for them to move.
And
not to mention the PI. Moving the PI is going to be the worst.
Why is that? The weight?
Setting it back up.
You're going to have to set up all your planets again on new. You have to set up your PI setup again completely.
Just moving it takes up a lot of cargo space, doesn't it? Usually, nullsec industrialism.
The command centers for the PI, they're really large. Yeah, it takes up a lot of space, but it's just the clicks.
Well, I'm thinking of
the command centers are 1,000 M3, so size-wise they're not that bad. But if you're moving any of the PI that you've brought out, any of the
that too,
PI or P1, that stuff's huge.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. And the P1 material, the stuff that you initially mine off of planets, is pretty light, but it starts getting heavier and heavier. Like by the time you're in robotics, it starts you can only carry so much.
It gets smaller, right? You want to move P3 before you move P1, right? If you're moving it, for sure.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it got bigger as you.
That's the other way. It's the other way because you're using more materials to create that one unit. Right?
I see. So it's absorbing.
Yeah.
But I thought they actually weighed differently.
And almost no one moves P0. They were, as they pull it out of the ground, they do that first level of production on it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, my memory is not serving me. I thought for some reason that when you started to put these things together, they actually grew in cubic meters, but I'm wrong. They stay the same size, so you want to absorb as much as you can. The point is, anything harvested.
EM size.
It might be 0.3 to 0.5. I think it's not that big a difference.
No.
But the point is, when you're in nullsec and you're harvesting, you have stockpiles, right, of a lot of stuff, and that takes freighters and freighters to move normally.
Yep.
To your lighter industrialists, and when I say lighter, not the massive scale people, they might have one, maybe a second jump freighter. So for them moving it, that's rough. At the alliance level, where you've got the people that can sling freighters from Titan to Titan that are throwing 10 of them out at a time, not as big of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you had Dunk Dinkle saying in the Brave Soda to
State of the Alliance.
State of the Alliance, the soda, to like build ships out of your ore to consolidate it to help move some of the materials you have, like build something with it and move that.
Yeah, because you can stick those ships into maintenance bays, and you can put a bunch of ships in those, and that is an equivalent of a ton of minerals, basically, which can only really be moved in large cargo ships. All right, so the jump freighter, by the way, carries I think it's about 1/3 what a normal freighter does, if not less. So,
Right. Yeah.
sometimes it's better. So if for people who are in high sec and who are starting to look at freighters and they're like, wow, look how big that cargo is, the jump freighter carries a lot less. So in case you don't know,
it's like 160,000 before expanders.
Yeah. Right. And
I believe, depending on which one you get. They vary from model to model a little bit.
So a couple questions here. First of all, there was something that was funny. I think I saw it here. Well, here's a question for you, Shen. Does PIBC have English corporations, or do you have to speak Chinese to belong there?
No. So Mango is a Chinese-speaking alliance, but Evictus is an English-speaking alliance. So that's a good thing with having Evictus with us. So if you're an English speaker, you still want to join us, there's an option for you.
Join
What's
Candyman mentioned there in chat that IOU's in PIBC and it's an English speakers there.
Yeah, so IOU is the ticker for Evictus.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
you said
same group.
Vindictive?
Yeah, so
Right,
Vindictive, so from what I know of, is they have two corporations that are Chinese, but the rest of their alliance is English speaking. So they're kind of like a mix. But for Evictus, they're, I think, purely English speaking, and for us, we're purely Chinese speaking.
Excellent.
And also, I think in chat, someone said like we don't talk much in. I think what he meant by that was we don't talk much in local. We do have a very strong rule about not to talk anything in local. Yeah.
So you guys are playing the game. You're not playing the social media game. It sounds like.
Yeah, we're not. Like, the only thing we put, like, officially we're told to put in local, like, maybe after fight, put GF. That's it. Like, don't even...
GF for good fight.
Yeah, and just, that's it. And then you put it when the FC tells you to put it, and just don't do anything else.
Does that go for AOM and everybody else, or does it go?
It's just for AOM. For AOM, just to clarify.
So that may not go for... It's not a PIBC policy. It's an AOM policy.
Yeah, it's AOM policy. And yes, our leader, Fulcrum, he speaks English. And so one thing we have seen last time during the fight with Siege Green in Detroit, what he did, so it's also shown in that video, that he was communicating with the Fire FC while in English while using Chinese to FC us. So he can do both really quickly at the same time, basically.
Wow. That's did you say that was Fulcrum?
Yeah, that was Fulcrum.
Yeah. Fulcrum was actually part of a group in Tranquility, Rooks and Kings. You can see him in some of those movies that they made that are fantastic. But he also played on Serenity, if I'm not mistaken. And he is on he may be on both servers, but he's definitely on this one. And good guy, nice guy. If you want to hear him, we have him about a year and a month ago on January 5th episode of Talking in Stations, or around that time, where we talk to Noros, Fulcrum, Pando, Villy, all in one episode, right when the war is kicking off. And that's a really good episode. You can hear a lot of the some of the you can hear a lot of the plans that were, you could hear a lot of what was going to happen right there. And one of the things, though, that wasn't fulfilled was, it was really funny because we had Fulcrum and Noros on the same show. They are enemies. They are natural enemies, and it's out in the open, right? And and Fulcrum was saying something, and Noros interrupted and said, "Oh no, I'm going to kill you, just not right now, after this war." So that's where we're at fraternity is eyeballing Mango, part of this PIBC coalition. But they were going to be by the way, the funny part is they're going to be allies, or at least they're not going to shoot each other on the field when they're attacking as part of PABI.
Yeah.
All that
So
is
the
over now.
official policy is we don't shoot each other in Delph, but everywhere else, free fire. We're still -5 to them during the war.
Yeah. All right.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, there's some neat stuff going on.
So for that, we had to put Gunswarm to -10. So in Delph, when there's battle happening, if we have both Fraternity and Gunswarm on field, we can quickly differentiate which group to shoot and don't misfire. Even though a lot of times, at least I have this experience of getting friendly fired by Fraternity sometimes in Delph. But yeah,
Oops.
it happens. It happens.
I am going to go look for that link so you guys can have it. I'll put it in the YouTube video show notes. I don't think I could find it before the show's over because we are out of time.
Just one last question.
Yeah,
I guess.
sure. Go
Some
ahead.
people
Yeah,
curious.
please. Yeah, go ahead.
Did big FC come over to the server from Serenity? I guess that answer is yes. So Fulcrum is the main FC for PIBC on Serenity. So he's basically like the boss. But he's what we call a high command. But on top of him, well, not on top of it, like we have another person called the chairman, which is Mental, who technically runs Alliance. It's not Fulcrum, but he's our high command. We have a chairman called Mental.
Mento?
Yep. So in English, it's called Steam Bond.
Steam Bond.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
food.
If you go, Rogues and Kings did a video. It's called First Light on the First Light on the 5th day. It kind of goes over what happened on Serenity. So it's Rogues and Kings First Light on the 5th day.
Yeah, there's too many shows. I mean, we've done hundreds. By the way, Talking in Stations reached nearly 2 million views in the last year, in 1 year. So there's a lot of videos to go through. I'll have to go find it and then I'll pop it back up. But that's a ton of stuff. I was looking at statistics and we're in 2.5 years past the Imperium on INN, which is not a competitor. Again, we're colleagues and peers. But they've been around since 2013, so it's just to give you an idea. They've done a lot of work over the years. Talking in Stations has put out so much volume that we have passed them in 2.5 years as far as how many views that we have and subscribers and all that. But again, not making a comparison, just we've done a lot of work in a condensed amount of time here at Talking in Stations. And I want to thank people like Xylix there. I think I said his name right. Who subscribed just now and gave everybody else subs, which is really cool. And Nick here and Manicsar and a lot of the guys here who all subscribed. Yeah, Xylix Zenith. And help keep us going. We're going to have some cool announcements in a little bit, I think in a few days, that you guys might like. But there's going to be some interesting stuff going on Talking in Stations. But not today. It was a casual Friday, but we got to go over to Open Comms. Yeah, where you can have some fun for the rest of the night. Thanks a lot, Manicsar.
No problem.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Good to see you. And Shen, let's hear your mic one more time. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, he sounds so much better, man. I'm digging that.
Yeah, it's awesome, right? All right, everybody. Take care. We will see you on Sunday for more Talking in Stations.
HiSec Buyback offers 90% JITA anywhere in HiSec. Simply go to hisec.evebuyback.com, appraise your items, create a contract, and get paid quickly.